It's a phrase you might have seen on TV or in the movies. The article says, another phrase you might hear someone say over the radio is Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
I hear this one a lot, but I don't think I want to hear it if I'm on a plane or something. So this is not something you really want to hear, but we do often hear this on TV, in the movies, when these situations are fake. Thank goodness. All right. Next in the article, it says, this expression is used in dangerous situations, such as when a pilot's plane is going down. So that's why I say this is not something you want to hear when you're on a plane, because it means that something scary is going to happen. All right, so I kept saying the word expression. Expression here is a noun and it means a word or a phrase. We learn a lot of fun English expressions and for you. So for example, we might hear something like so far so good. So these are a group of words or it's a phrase and it means things are going well now. Or another expression can be hang in there and it means don't give up. So all of these are a group of words that people use to mean something else, and we call these expressions. For example, I can say, my grandfather grew up in Shanghai. So there are some expressions that I don't understand. So maybe he speaks Shanghainese and they might have Shanghainese expressions and I don't understand that.
Right. Another word we saw just now is situation. And it's a noun that means how things are around you. The situation might be as simple as, it's hot, or it's raining, or in this case it might be, my plane is on fire. It's the situation that's happening right now. An example might be, when we heard thunder during our soccer game, I knew the situation was bad.
Now here we're going to take a look at how to use passive voice, which is 被动语态, and it means that the subject receives the action and that the subject isn't the main person doing the action. So it's a little bit confusing, but it just means 备态, okay? 被动态. Most active sentences can be changed to passive voice by using a subject and then a be verb and then a PP verb. And then you have a by an object. So for example, we can say, Aaron was pleased by the news that he had been accepted into the study abroad program. Or we can also say she was offended by the stranger's mean comment. Okay, so here it means that the subject is not doing the action, but it's receiving some kind of action. So that's why we say it's passive voice. Another way to use this is when the main verb of the sentence isn't that important and we don't have to point out the object of this sentence. So instead, we can say that that famous company was formed in the 1940s. So here, I don't have to use by blah, 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 blah. So usually we might say that famous company was formed by blah, blah, blah in the 1940s. But here, we don't have to say that. We can omit it and we can say that famous company was formed in the 1940s. All right, so we can take a look at another phrase here we saw, such as.
Right. This other phrase that we saw is such as. We use this phrase to give an example of something. It's similar to using the word like. I might say movies such as Star Wars or The Avengers when I want to talk about big, exciting adventure movies. An example might be, I really like to eat fruit such as apples and pears.
All right, so we know that Mayday is something that we hear quite often in movies, hopefully not in real life.
No.
Now, the article says, can you guess what this important expression's origins are? Okay, so let's take a look at some of the choices. So where does this phrase come from? It could be A radio officer invented it in the 1920s. Okay, so maybe someone just made up this word in the 1920s. Now, we said a radio officer invented it in the 1920s. Now, when you invent something, it means that you create something new for the first time. Now, it can be something like a machine, it could be a word, it could be just things people use to make life easier, to make things easier. For example, before people would have to write letters in order to talk to each other or in order to talk to people far away. Okay, so Alexander Graham Bell invented or he created the telephone so people can call each other and receive and send messages faster, right? Because writing a letter, you will have to wait months in order for the letter to arrive. But maybe Alexander Graham Bell thought that it took too long. I'm going to invent a machine that makes this easier. So that's how he invented the telephone. And this is how life became easier for people with the telephone. Now, I said as well, you can also invent words as well. So there's a lot of new words that people use nowadays, like YOLO or, expressions that younger people use. We can say these are words that didn't exist in the English language a long time ago, but they exist now because of, technology and things that are happening in the modern time.
Right.
All right, so all of these things that you invent are also called inventions. So if you invent something, it becomes an invention and that becomes a noun. Now let's use invent in a sentence. We can say, Larry wants to invent the first flying car and hopes that people can use it soon. All right, so should we take a look at choice B?
Right, this is our second option. B, a radio station started using it in the 1940s. So it could be that, could be a radio station using it.
Yeah, but I think there's something that I want to point out with the time. I remember in the last article we learned that the military used the radio in the 1940s.
Yep.
So I'm probably going to eliminate A, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. For me, I would guess. Maybe not A, so maybe B or C. Now let's take a look at C so we can make more guesses. Hey, C says, a film star said it during a movie about the holiday May Day. Okay, so it's interesting.
Okay.
There's a lot of different choices, but I don't think it's A.
C.
What do you think?
Well, let's see if the readers have guessed differently. Because the article says, you've earned your wings if you guessed A.
Oh, man.
So A was the right answer.
All right.
And that phrase, earn your wings, means to get the right answer or to get to earn the right to fly a plane. This is a phrase that pilots use. A pilot's work clothes usually have a pair of wings on them, usually somewhere around here. So the idea of earning your wings is showing that you can fly a plane and start wearing pilot's clothes with those wings on them. Let's watch a video clip about it and we'll be right back.